this is your basic form lesson, okay? And if you guys are going to be totally online doing this, you're going to need to be able to do a sphere, a cylinder, and a cube. So let me show you how I think you should do this, all right? First of all, you need to determine, you don't have to draw it on your drawing necessarily that you're turning in, but I'm just going to do this for your demo here. You need to determine a light source. There's my sun, okay? And let's say we're doing the sphere first. Let's try this. The larger you work, the easier it is. This is vine charcoal that I'm working with. It's that stuff, stick-like stuff. It's called willow, vine, that kind of thing. That is, it's very breakable, and it's meant to be that sort of underdrawing kind of thing, all right? Take your finger and lay down and then sort of mush it around. Notice that where the light's hitting it the most, it's going to be the darkest. Does that make sense? And where the light's hitting it the least, that's going to be the darkest. That's called using value, or chiaroscuro, or what you guys might say is shading, all right? Then you use your compressed charcoal, which is this stick-like, stumpy stuff. It's when you're sure. This is the stuff that you go on at the end when you've got all your value laid down and you don't, you want to erase, you want the very darkest value. To get a really good sphere or any kind of form, you need to have a definite dark to light sort of thing working there, okay? There's my, well, my lumpy, but nonetheless my sphere, okay? Then you can add you take your charcoal pencil and add your details or whatever else. Notice this. I did not leave a dark line over here. Look what happens to your form when that happens. It flattens out. Because guess what? In realism, nothing comes with a black outline. Zero. What you are seeing is, pretend like this is the table the thing is sitting on right here, okay? This is what you're seeing. It's the difference between the back of the wall or whatever's behind your object. That's what makes the line. Do you see the difference there? That's what makes it even more realistic. This, if you don't know what this thing is, this is called a kneaded eraser, like you knead bread or whatever. Take that out of there. I can't stand it. Use some vine charcoal here, maybe on the tabletop a little bit. Anyway, you see how much this looks like it's a real form sitting in real space. Your kneaded eraser will take out material, it'll lighten an area, say this is too dark over here behind here, or like here, like I did. But it will lift it out without taking out what you've drawn underneath it. That's the point of it. See how it's lightened up there a bit? That's what the kneaded eraser is really for. Plus, the more you knead it, the more it cleans. And the more you get back to, its nice, pristine self. Until it gets so full of stuff that it won't. Don't forget you can draw with your eraser. Let me get this thing cleaned up over here. Make lines with it, etc. Things like that. I'll show you more about that later. But there you go. There's your sphere, okay? Basically the same idea behind the cylinder. Let's do it on the back here. Choose your light source, even if it's just in your mind, a theoretical one, okay? Draw large-ish. Notice how this arc is exactly the mirror image of this one. I mean, not mirror image, it's exactly the same angle. Does that make sense? The same swoop. Parallel to each other. And then around the top. So if you were this cylinder, this theoretical cylinder, where would the light be hitting it the strongest? Well, you could probably say probably about in here, but let's say it's the top mostly, okay? Choose a side. The darker part is going to be here. So I'm taking my vine again, and I'm laying down a decent level of value. Mushing it around. I need to add some more. The more charcoal you lay down, the easier it is to manipulate. I know that sounds crazy, but this vine charcoal was designed just for that in mind. For it to be easily removed. Now let's take that compressed here, because I'm sure I want some here and around here at the bottom. Give it a good go here. There we go. Notice it's got to be smooth, a smooth transition. You can't have any lines in there. You can't have any demarc. Smooth from dark to light, okay? Super easy. You guys should be able to do this in no time flat. Then I'm just going to take what's on my fingers and borrow to put just a little bit of light value on the top, right down here at the back. That's it. And then erase out that strong line I don't want there, okay? There is your form. There's your, and then see the background would be the dark part. Does that make sense? That's where the line is, okay? That's a sphere, I mean a cylinder, excuse me. Now let's do the cube. The box is a little bit more complicated. Not bad, but just a little bit. But this is the same, it's the same idea behind a house or anything cube-like or has a rectangular type form. Here's your sun source again, your light source. Okay, coming down. Here's my box. I'm going to forgive anything that's not quite in perspective, okay, but because you'll learn perspective probably later. Draw 3 lines, thusly, and then notice they're all parallel to each other. They're all going perpendicular, all going straight up and down. Draw this there. Notice these two exactly go in the same direction. These two exactly in the same direction. And guess what? So is this one going, well, exactly in the same direction. Okay. So where's the light hitting it here? Probably on the top of the box, okay? So you know that this is going to have all the lightest values. This is going to have the darkest because it's the farthest away. And this is going to have all sort of the medium to medium dark values here. So let's get some vine charcoal and start with, this is a hard piece. And I'm lightly putting it there. And then it's time for the dark side. The dark side. Gotta have the dark side. I'm leaving the white, the very top part there alone. Put some more very darks back here. Crisp it up. There we go. Notice there aren't any lines, so to speak, when I get done in my work. Outlines, like cartoon outlines. That's anti-realism, all right? Trust me. All right, let's get this lightened up over here. Let's take that line out of there. There we go. Let's get that dark side a little bit crisper. And there will be some difference between, say, this side could be a little bit darker down in this area. Maybe I'll add a little bit more down here. This could be a little lighter over here. Let's take out this nasty line here. We don't want any of that. Maybe I want this to be a little bit lighter over here, just a bit. See, there's a difference between, say, down here, because it's farther away still than this side, this corner. You can have that slight variation, but notice it's all within sort of this medium range. This is all within that dark range. And here's the light part. Let's clean up this line here. I don't want this harsh line here. There we go, just take it barely out. Take what's on my fingers and borrow across the top. Now you may decide to go ahead and carefully add your value that way, but frankly, I'm not one to bore you with the finer touches of cleaning it all up and being spiffy. I want you guys to get started on your drawing. And there is your box. In 3 dimensions, all right? And this would be the same way if you were drawing a house. You'd have the windows be, you know, everything would go along with what it is. Once you've got the basic structure of where the light is hitting it the most, the least, and the middle, you've got it go. You've got it ready to go. And you don't need to rely on strong, these awful, this is a big no-no. It's just not necessary. It's a hallmark of a beginning draftsman, and you guys are gonna get better than that, okay? So that's it for basic form.